Today, we're talking about why putting normal people in a tiny metal box turns them into quiet statues and will help you learn simple, everyday English along the way.
It really is a very funny situation when you really think about it. I mean, you could take completely calm, happy adults who are having a great day.
Yeah, totally normal people.
Right. You put them into this small moving room, and suddenly nobody knows where to look. Nobody knows what to do with their hands. They just freeze.
I do this all the time. Like, you walk into the building, you are laughing and talking loudly with a friend.
Oh, exactly.
Then the metal doors slide open, you step inside, the doors close, and suddenly you completely forget how to act like a normal human. You just stare up at the numbers changing.
It happens to everyone. Today, we're going to look closely at some very interesting psychology to figure out exactly why this happens to you, to me, and to everyone else.
Yeah, we will explore what happens in your body, what your ancient brain is doing, and the hidden rules we all agree to follow.
So, to understand the mystery, we really have to start by looking at the physical space itself. Like, what is an elevator, really?
A tiny box.
Basically, yes. It is a heavy, sealed metal box. There's almost no room inside. There is no easy way to get out until the ride is completely over.
And most importantly, strangers are forced to stand right next to each other.
Right. That physical space seems to be the biggest problem. We do not usually stand that close to people we don't know, right?
We really don't. I mean, humans care a lot about personal space.
We care about it much more than we realize. There was a famous researcher named Edward Hall who studied how humans use space. He said we all carry an invisible bubble around our bodies.
An invisible bubble. I love that image. You cannot see it, but you definitely feel it when someone steps inside of it.
You feel it immediately. And there are different zones in this invisible bubble. Like if you are walking in a wide open park, your bubble is very large.
That makes sense.
But if you're standing in a line at a store, the bubble shrinks a little bit.
Yeah.
But the closest zone, the space right next to your skin, is very special.
Only for certain people, right?
Yes. In our everyday lives, only family members, romantic partners, and very trusted friends are allowed inside that closest zone.
So it is kind of like walking around town wearing a plastic hula hoop around your waist?
A hula hoop, yes. That is a perfect way to picture it.
You would never let a total stranger step inside your personal hula hoop on the street. You would step back.
That is a wonderful way to explain it. If a stranger stepped into your hula hoop on the street, you would probably feel angry or scared.
Definitely. But elevators do not care about your personal rules. They force complete strangers right into this highly private zone.
And your body knows it feels wrong. Even if you are trying to be polite, you can feel your muscles getting tight.
Yeah, because it creates a huge argument inside your body, doesn't it?
It really does. Your nervous system sends an urgent, loud message that says, "Warning, this person is too close. Step away."
But your good manners and your social training say you must act perfectly normal. Do not be rude. Be polite.
Right. So you cannot scream and you cannot run away.
You just have to stand there and pretend everything is totally fine while your body is quietly panicking.
That creates a lot of quiet stress. You are trying to stay polite, but your body is on high alert.
Which is why a totally silent elevator can feel very loud and heavy inside your head.
Exactly. Because you are on high alert, you notice every tiny detail. You feel a backpack brushing against your arm. You hear someone breathing.
You notice someone moving their foot, so the uncomfortable feeling is completely real.
It is. Even when nobody is doing anything wrong, a crowded elevator is basically a machine that breaks our invisible boundaries.
That is very true. We know the physical space breaks our bubble rules. So how does the brain handle this?
We have to look inside the head to see the biology of this awkwardness. Inside your brain, there's a very important part called the amygdala.
Okay, the amygdala.
Yes. For simple English, you can think of the amygdala as your brain's security alarm.
The security alarm. So its job is to watch out for danger and keep us safe.
Yes, its only job is to look for threats. It controls our fear. To understand how important this is, medical researchers studied a woman who had a very rare condition.
Oh, what happened to her?
She had severe damage to her amygdalas. Basically, her brain's security alarm was completely broken. It was unplugged.
Wait, really? If her alarm is completely broken, does that mean she literally wouldn't flinch if I stood an inch from her nose?
That is exactly what it means.
Yeah.
She did not feel any normal discomfort when strangers stood extremely close to her.
But that sounds less like a superpower and more like a great way to get hurt in the real world.
You're totally right to point that out. She could stand right in front of a stranger, almost touching noses, and she felt perfectly fine. But it is dangerous.
Discomfort exists for a very good reason. We need the stress. It tells us when something is not right.
Exactly. Most of us feel stress in an elevator because the brain is actively trying to protect us. It is doing its security work to keep us safe.
But I know I am safe. The person next to me is just a tired guy wearing a business suit and holding a cup of coffee.
You logically know that, yes.
So why is my brain acting like I am in extreme danger?
Because your brain is running very ancient survival software. The human brain evolved thousands and thousands of years ago.
Like built for the wild, right?
Yes, it was built for living in the wild, in forests and caves. It was definitely not built for modern office buildings or small metal boxes.
So my eyes see a boring guy in a suit, but my brain still uses the old software from the forest.
That is exactly what happens.
Yeah.
You are standing beside a modern stranger, but a deep old part of your brain says, stay alert.
Like you do not know this creature. You are trapped in a small space with them.
Right. Your brain says, be ready for anything. You are running ancient code in a very modern situation.
That makes so much sense. Because our ancient brain feels trapped and we cannot fight or run away, we have to invent physical ways to survive the short trip.
We do. When humans cannot fight and cannot run away, we use a third option. We shift into a light freeze mode.
Freeze mode. Like a small animal hiding in the tall grass, hoping the danger walks past.
Exactly like that. It is not a full panic attack. You do not start sweating or crying. It is just a very controlled stillness. You stop moving.
And this creates what we call the classic elevator pose.
Everyone knows the elevator pose. You pull your arms in tight against your body. You put your hands in your pockets.
Your shoulders get very stiff. You try to make yourself as small as possible, and everyone faces perfectly forward, like soldiers.
Oh, right. And one of the most important parts of this freeze mode is where we put our eyes.
Eye contact becomes a very sensitive game. We avoid looking at each other like it is against the law. We stare at the ceiling.
We really do.
Why is looking at someone so bad?
Let us look at the animal world again to answer that. In many animals, direct eye contact is a challenge.
Like two wild dogs staring at each other.
Yes. If two wild dogs stare directly into each other's eyes, a fight will probably happen. Staring means aggression.
So if I stare at the person next to me, my ancient brain is sending them a threat.
Yes. Therefore, avoiding eye contact is a peaceful move. When you look down or look away from the stranger in the elevator, you are sending a silent, friendly message.
You are saying, I see you are there, but I am completely peaceful. I am not a threat to you.
Exactly. We avoid looking at each other just to prove we are friendly. That brings up a great social rule from the research.
No, what is the rule called?
The sociologists call it civil inattention.
Civil inattention. What does that mean in simple English for us?
It is a brilliant idea.
Hmm.
In everyday English, you can simply call it polite ignoring.
Polite ignoring, it sounds like a joke, but it is a real rule.
Yeah, it's a very real rule.
Yeah.
It means you briefly notice someone, maybe for half a second, and then you quickly look away.
You show them that you know they exist, but you respectfully leave them alone.
Yes.
So when I walk past someone in a busy city and I don't say hello, I am actually being kind by giving them polite ignoring.
You absolutely are. Polite ignoring is an essential city survival skill. Imagine if you had to smile, say hello, and look deeply into the eyes of every single person on a crowded public bus.
Or in a busy train station. That would be terrible. I would be completely exhausted by 9 o'clock in the morning.
You would have no energy left to do your job. It would drain everybody's energy.
So polite ignoring protects our privacy and saves our mental battery.
Yes, it is a tiny peace agreement we make with strangers thousands of times a day. We share the public space without asking anything from each other.
That perfectly explains why we stare at the strangest things when we are writing in the box. We look at the floor numbers lighting up.
We look at a tiny spot on the door. We stare really hard at our own shoes.
Are there names for those safe spaces we look at?
Yes, the researchers call those things visual shelters. They are safe places to rest your eyes so you do not accidentally stare at a stranger and cause their security alarm to go off.
Okay, so we understand the eyes. We stare at our shoes to be peaceful. But it is not just about where we look, is it?
No, it is also about where we put our feet. We do a very funny dance to share the floor space.
The floor dance is very predictable. You could call it the geometry of discomfort.
Geometry of discomfort, I love that. When people walk into an empty elevator, they naturally spread out in a very specific shape. Think about the dots on playing dice used in games.
Oh, I can picture that perfectly. Like when there are two people, they walk to opposite corners. It looks just like the number 2 on a dice.
Exactly right. And if a third person gets in, they form a triangle shape.
And if a fourth person gets in, they move to fill all 4 corners. It looks exactly like the number 4 on a dice.
It is so funny. We act like magnets pushing away from each other. We are constantly trying to push as far apart as the metal walls will let us.
We do that to maximize the physical distance, right? To lower our brain's security alarm.
Yes. And standing in a corner feels much safer for your ancient brain because you have a solid wall right behind you. It removes the unknown.
Because nobody can sneak up behind your back if your back is against a steel wall.
That makes complete sense. But then the doors open again. What happens when the 5th person enters? All the safe corners are already taken?
Oh no! The 5th person has the worst luck. They have to take the worst spot of all.
They have to stand in the cursed center.
The cursed center. I completely hate being the 5th person.
Nobody wants the center. You have to stand right in the middle of the box. You are exposed on all sides.
You have no solid wall to protect your back. You are too close to everyone, and you have nowhere to lean or relax.
You just stand there looking like a sad tree, hoping the doors open quickly. And if the elevator gets really crowded, the rules have to change again.
Yeah, because we run out of space entirely. Once the box is packed full, the strategy shifts.
People pull their elbows in very tight. They hold their bags close against their chests.
They turn their bodies slightly sideways so their shoulders do not bump the person next to them.
Everyone pretends nothing special is happening, while clearly doing a huge amount of hard physical work.
It takes so much effort to pretend you are doing nothing. But what happens if the situation gets really confusing?
Like, what if you step in and you do not know where to stand or what to do?
Right. When humans get confused, especially in a fast situation, we fall back on a very strong habit called conformity.
Conformity. In simple English, conformity just means copying what the group is doing.
And elevators are perfect places to test this because the environment is closed and you only have a few seconds to make a choice.
So this reminds me of a very famous hidden camera experiment from the research, the backward-facing elevator experiment.
Yes, it is a classic piece of psychology from the 1960s. The video is amazing.
A normal person walks into an elevator to go up, but there are already 3 actors inside.
And all 3 actors are facing the wrong way. They're facing the back wall instead of the doors.
Right. The doors open and you see 3 backs. What does the normal person do?
At first, the normal person looks super confused. They walk in and face the door like they always do. But then they slowly start to turn.
They look at the group. They look at the wall. They get nervous.
And eventually, they turn completely around to match the actors. They end up facing the back wall, too. It proves we don't really use logic, we just copy the room.
We truly do. In uncertain moments, we use the group as a shortcut for what is safe.
If everybody around you is acting like facing the blank wall is the correct thing to do, your brain starts doubting its own memory.
You think, maybe they know something I do not know. Maybe the door opens on the other side. I better copy them just to be safe.
Because the ride is so short, you have no time to ask questions or think deeply about it. You just copy them to survive.
It is amazing how our biology and our social habits control us so completely.
And because human biology makes this tiny space so naturally stressful, the smart engineers who build modern buildings have to use secret design tricks to calm us down.
This is a really cool part of the story, the building's secret tricks. I always thought an elevator was just a simple box on a heavy cable.
I didn't realize it was designed to trick my brain either. Let's talk about the mirrors. Almost every modern elevator has a large mirror on the wall.
Yes, the mirrors are very important. Checking your hair or your clothes is nice, but the mirror has 2 real psychological jobs.
What is the first one?
First, a big mirror makes a small, enclosed room look much larger. It tricks your eyes so you do not feel so trapped.
That makes perfect sense. But what is the second job?
The second job is brilliant. It gives your eyes something useful to do, and it lets you watch the other people in the room without making direct eye contact.
Oh, that is so smart. Our eyes are safe. I can watch the person behind me through the reflection in the mirror.
I can see what their hands are doing, so my security alarm is happy, but they do not feel like I am staring at them aggressively.
Exactly. It is a sneaky but very helpful trick. It supports that polite ignoring we talked about, so we fix the eye problem. But what about the ears?
The mechanical sounds are another problem.
Oh, right. Elevator music. People always joke about the boring music playing in the background, but does it actually do something important?
Yes, the music has a very real job. Soft background music acts as a sound blanket.
A sound blanket. I like that. It covers up the ugly noises.
It covers up the scary noises. An elevator makes a lot of heavy mechanical sounds. Thick cables pulling, metal scraping against metal, big motors running.
To your ancient brain, those loud sounds feel like danger. The soft, gentle music hides those danger noises.
It also fills the uncomfortable quiet air so you do not have to listen to the stranger next to you breathing heavily.
It smooths out the rough edges of the trip. But let's talk about the best trick of all, the button on the wall.
Ah, yes. The closed door button.
People absolutely love that button. When someone is in a rush, they do the aggressive 8 tap.
You know what I mean. They hit the button, tap, 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 hoping it will make the slow doors close faster.
The funny truth is, for most normal passengers, that button does absolutely nothing. It is often just a placebo button.
A placebo button. Let's explain what a placebo is in simple English.
A placebo is something that is completely fake, but it still makes you feel better. Like a doctor giving someone a sugar pill instead of real medicine.
If the patient believes it works, their body actually feels better. The closed door button is like a sugar pill for a stressed person.
Wait, so the building engineers spend money to install a button that is completely fake?
In many modern buildings, yes. The doors are fully automatic. They operate on a computer timer because of safety laws for wheelchairs and slow walkers.
So pressing the button does not actually speed up the computer?
No, not at all.
So why did they even put the plastic button there?
Because of human psychology. It gives people a fake feeling of control. When humans feel delayed or trapped, having a button to press gives them an action to take.
It makes you feel like you are doing something to solve the problem, which directly lowers your heart rate and your stress.
Exactly. The brain loves a physical action that feels helpful.
It is just a stress ritual. Pushing the plastic button releases our anxiety. We're doing nothing, but we feel so much better afterward.
We also see human emotion in the numbers on the elevator wall. Many tall buildings completely skip floor 13.
Right. You press the buttons and it goes from floor 12 straight to floor 14.
Yes. Because many people are highly superstitious about the number 13. They believe it brings terrible luck.
And in parts of Asia, the number 4 is often skipped. In some Asian languages, the word for the number 4 sounds very similar to the word for death.
So even a pure logical machine made of steel and computer wires has to be carefully designed around our human feelings, our fears, and our old superstitions.
That is exactly right. And since human feelings are so deeply involved, different cultures around the world have developed different ways to play this awkward game.
How do different countries handle the silence of the metal box?
Well, in places like East Asia, you often see a very active kind of politeness. For example, in Japan, the first person who gets in and stands near the buttons might act as a helper for everyone else.
Oh, like they become the captain of the elevator.
Exactly. They might hold the door open button while everyone walks in. They angle their body carefully to give people maximum space.
And they might even give a small, polite nod to people when they leave. It is a shared public space, so the culture says you should actively help the group.
That is really nice. What about in more individualistic places like the United States or Northern Europe?
In those cultures, politeness usually means staying far away and remaining completely quiet.
The rule is simple. Respect the invisible bubble, do not enter someone's personal space, and do not start any unnecessary conversation.
So one culture shows respect by actively helping, and another culture shows respect by carefully staying out of your way.
Yes. Both cultures are trying to solve the exact same human problem. How do strangers share a tiny space without turning it into a highly stressful situation?
Everyone just wants a peaceful ride. And because we all deeply understand these silent rules, it makes elevators a great place for storytelling.
Movies and television absolutely love using elevator scenes.
They do. Elevators in movies are like pressure cookers.
A pressure cooker. The heat goes up very fast and there is nowhere for the hot steam to escape.
That is right. The characters cannot easily walk away. The time is short. The space is extremely tight. Because of all this, one tiny movement feels huge.
If two characters are slowly falling in love, just standing shoulder to shoulder in a quiet elevator feels so romantic and intense.
And if two characters hate each other, standing in that quiet box feels super dangerous.
If someone starts talking loudly in a movie elevator, you instantly know they are crazy.
Yes. The movie director does not need to explain anything. The audience already knows the real-world rules of the elevator.
So when the movie breaks those rules, the tension builds instantly. The audience feels the awkwardness in their own bodies.
It really is a cool little world. You know, thinking about the biology and the rules completely changes how I view that short trip.
We are not just being weird. The quiet awkwardness is actually kind of sweet. It means everyone is trying really hard not to bother anyone else.
I agree completely. When you see a group of people staring at their shoes, it is easy to think they are being cold or unfriendly.
But that silence is not coldness at all. It is high-level teamwork.
High-level teamwork from complete strangers.
It really is. You have all these ancient human brains running wild survival software packed into a tiny, fast-moving metal box.
And instead of fighting or panicking, everyone cooperates perfectly. Everyone agrees to freeze, use polite ignoring, and give each other as much physical space as possible.
We manage our own bodies, our own hands, and our own eyes just to make the stranger next to us feel safe.
Exactly. It is a tiny social system switching on, working perfectly, and switching off again for a short shared journey.
It shows how much invisible effort goes into simply sharing the world with other human beings.
I really love that perspective. The next time I step inside one, I will not feel weird. I will just be impressed by all the silent teamwork happening around me.
Before we finish today, I want to leave you with a final thought to explore on your own. As technology changes, we are moving toward a future with autonomous vehicles, driverless cars, and small travel pods.
Oh, wow. So we won't even have a driver in the front seat.
Exactly. Soon, we might be forced to ride in these tiny self-driving metal pods with complete strangers on our way to work.
Will our ancient brains eventually adapt to this new normal? Or will the car companies have to design these future vehicles to look and sound exactly like elevators?
Complete with mirrors and soft music, just to keep us from panicking. Once you see the invisible rules of human behavior, you will notice them everywhere you go.
That is a great question to think about. Will we all just stare at our shoes in the flying cars of the future? Probably.
Probably. It'll be a very quiet ride.
If you enjoy our content,
Easy English Cozy Learning. We'll see you next time.